Welcome to Jesus Matriculation School Talavadi social class. Today I go to explain you 7th standard lesson history, lesson number 3, emergency of new kingdoms in South India, later Cholas and Pandyas. In the past class I explained the brief explanation of Cholas. Today I go to explain you the Pandyas, the later Pandyas. Pandyas were one of 3 ancient Tamil densities that ruled southern India since 4th century BC. But intermediately, Korkai, associated with pearl fishers, is believed to have been their early capital and port. They moved to Madurai later, as many early Tamil inscriptions of Pandyas have been unearthed in Madurai and its surroundings. Under the Pandya kings of the Sangam age, Madurai was the great center of culture. Poets and writers of Tamil language gathered there and contributed to the development of Tamil classics. The Pandyas had re-established their strong position in South Tamil Nadu by the end of the 6th century AD. After eliminating the rule of Kalvarahas, but they could not resist and rising power of the later Cholas, who ruled South India from 9th to 13th century. Thereafter, taking advantage of the decline of Chola power, the later Pandyas re-established their authority. Their rule continued until 6th century. Next we are going to learn about revival of Pandya kingdoms AD 600 to 920. Kudan Khan recovered Pandya territory from the Kalbarahas towards the close of 6th century. He was succeeded by 2 others. Arikesari Maravarman was the first strong Pandya ruler who ascended the throne in AD 642. He was contemporary of Mahendravarman I and Narasimhavarman I. Inscriptions and copper plates prize his victory over his counterparts, Cheras, Cholas, Pallavas and Sinhalese. Harikesari Maravarman is identified with the Kun Pandyan, the prosecutor of Jains. Saivet Saints Tiruvagasambar converted Harikesari from Jainism to Saivism. On his conversion, Harikesari is alleged to have impaled around 8,000 Jains on stacks. Through the number, an exgenerate one and anti-Jain attitude of Harikesari after his conversion to Saivism cannot be doubted. After Harikesari, the greatest of density was Jetila Parantaka Nedu Jelian. Varaguna 1, we are called that, in 756 to 815. The donor of the Venvikudi plates, Nedunjadavan, expanded the Pandya territory to include Tanjavur, Tiruchirappalli, Salem and Coimbatore districts. Nedunjadavan's successor Srimara Srivallabha and Varaguna II were successively defeated by Pallavas. Later, they could not face the rising Chola density under the Parantaka I. Parantaka I defeated the Pandya king Rajasimha II, who filled the country in 920. Thus ended the Pandya rule revived by Kadugan. Next, Edenge's rise of the later Pandyas in 1192 1310. The Chola viceroyalty became weak in Pandyan country after the death of Adi Rajendra, the last king of Vijayalaya line. Eventually, the Pandya king could emerge as the only leading Tamil dynasty in the 13th century. Madurai continued to be their capital. Now Kayal was their great port. Marco Polo, a famous traveler from Venice, visited Kayal twice in under 1288 and 1293. He tells us that this port town was full of ships from Arabia and China and bustling with business activities. Marco Polo hailed the Pandyan kingdom as the richest and the most splendid province in the world. Together with Ceylon, he added it's produced most of the gems and pearls that are found in the world. In this travel, account is recorded the incident of Sati and the polygamy practiced by the kings. Next, we are going to learn about Sadayavarman Sundara Pandyan. The illustrious ruler of the second Pandya kingdom was Sadayavarman, means Jethavarman, Sundara Pandyan in 1251 to 1268. He brought the entire Tamil Nadu under his rule, which extended up to Nellore to Andhra. He held the Hoysala in check. The Chera ruler, the chief of Malanadu, accepted his feudatory position and paid tribute to Sundara Pandya. Emboldened by the decline of the Chola state, the Boja king of Malwa region, Veera Someshwara, challenged Sundara Pandyan. In a war of Kannanur, Sundara Pandyan defeated Someshwara. Sundara Pandyan succeeded in establishing his authority over the chieftains of Kudaluru, Kanchipuram in northern Tamil Nadu, Arcot and Salem in the western region. There were 2 or 3 co-regents who ruled stimulously along with Sundara Pandyan, Vikrama Pandyan and Veera Pandyan. After Sundara Pandyan, Maravana Kulashekaran ruled successfully for a period of 40 years, giving the country peace and prosperity. He had two sons. The kings appointed the Veera Pandyan as a co-regent, provoked the other son Sundara Pandyan, who killed his father Maravarman Kulashekaran. In the civil war that ensued, Veera Pandyan won and became firmly established in his kingdom. The defeated Sundara Pandyan fled to Delhi and took refuge under the protection of Alauddin Khilji. This provided the opening for the invention of Malik Kafur. After Malik Kafur invention, the Pandyan kingdom came into the divided among the numbers of the kings from the main ruling Pandyans family. In Madurai, a Muslim state subordinate to the Delhi Sultan came to the established. Next, we are going to learn about polity and society. In that points, we are going to learn about state. Pandya kings preferred Madurai as their capital. Madurai has been popularly venerated as Kudal. The king were traditionally revered as Kudal Kun, Kudal Nagaram Kavalan. The Pandyas derived military advantage over their neighbors by means of their horses. They imported these horses through Arabs with whom they had commercial and cultural contact. The king claimed that he was ruling according to Manu Shastra. This doctrine supported the social hereditary in the society. Kings and local chiefs created Brahmin settlements called Mangalam or Chaturvedi Mangalam, which irrigation facilitates. The actual landowning groups are described as the Bhumiputras, otherwise called the Vellalars. Historically, they were locals and hence they were referred to as Natu Makkal. The communal assembly of this group is Chittira Melli Periyanatha. Next, we are going to learn about royal officials. A band of officials executed the royal orders. The Prime Minister was Uttara Mantri. The historical personalities like Manikyavasagar, Kulasierar and Maranakari worked as ministers. The royal secretariat was known as Eltu Mandapam. The most respected officials were Maran Ayanan, Satyan Ganapati, Enadi Sattam, Tira Thiran, Murthy Inian, and others. Of military commanders were Pallivelan, Parantakan Pallivelan, Maran Adityan, and Chennavan Tamil Ved. Next, we are going to learn about administrative divisions. Pandya Nadu, as the Chola state, consisted of many provinces known as Valanadus, which in turn were divided into many Nadus and Kurrams. The administrative authorities of Nadu were the Nathars. Nadu and Kurram contained settlements which Mangalam, Nagaram, Ur and Kudi were different social groups inhabited. Next, we are going to learn about village administration. An inscription from Manu, Tirunelveli district, dated AD 8800, provides an account of the village administrations. It looks similarly to Chola's local governance that included village assemblies and committees. Both civil and military powers seem to have been vested in the same persons. Next, we are going to learn about irrigations of Pandya time. The Pandya ruler created a number of irrigation sources on either side of the river Vaigai and Tamirabarani. Channels leading to the irrigation tanks were built. In southern Tamil Nadu, like the Cholas, Pandyas introduced the new irrigation technology. Irrigation works were done by local administrative bodies, local chiefs and officials. Repair were mostly undertaken by local bodies. Sometimes traders also dug out tanks for irrigations. Next, we are going to learn about religions of Pandya time. Pandyas extended patronage to Vedic practices. Velvikudi, copper plates as well as inscriptional sources mentioned the ritual like Ashwamedha Yaga, Hirayana Grabha and Vajapeyi Yaga conducted by every great Pandya king. The importunity of rulers towards both Saivism and Vaishnavism is also made now in the invocatory portions of the inscriptions. Temples of both sets were patronized through land grant taxes, expectations of renovations. The great Snaiva and Vaisnava saints, Nainmars and Alvars, we are called, combined contributed to the growth of Tamil literature and spiritual enlightenment. The period was marked by intense religious conflict. The Bhakti movement of the time prompted the heterodox scholars for a debate. Many instances of the defeat of Buddhists and Jains in such debates are mentioned in Bhakti literatures. The Pandya kings of the period supported to promoted Tamil and Sanskrit. We are going to learn about temples. Medieval Pandyas and later Pandyas did not build any new temples but maintained the existing temples, enlarging them with the additions of gopuras and mantapas. The monolithic mega-size ornamented pillars are the unique features of the medieval Pandya style. Sculptures of Shiva, Vishnu, Kotravagai, Ganesha and Subramanya are the best specimen in these temples. Pandyas specially patronized the historic Meenakshi temple at Madurai and kept expanding its premises by adding gopuras and mantapas. Next, the last one we are going to learn about, that is trade. Arab settlements on the west coast of southern India from 7th century had led to the expansion of their trade connection to the east coast because the government of the east coast pursued a more liberal and enlightened policy towards overseas traders. The charter exempt traders from various types and poured dues and tolls. In Kayal, they were an agency established by an Arab chieftain by name Malik ul Islam or Jamal ud-Din. This agency facilitated availability of horses to Pandya kings. In the 13th and 14th century, horse trade became brisk. Marco Polo and Wasaf state that king invested in horses as there was need of horse for ceremonial purpose as well as for fighting wars. Those who were trading in horses were called Kudirai Chittis. They were active in maritime trade also. The busiest port town under the Pandyas was Koyal Pattinam, now in Thoothukudi districts, on the east coast. Gold coins were the circulations of the trade was carried through the minimum and gold. It was variously called Kushu, Kalalchu and Poya. Pond. The vast trade in horses of that time has been recorded by Wasaf. He writes as many 10,000 horses were imported into Kayal and other ports of India, of which 1,400 were to be a Jamal-ud-Din own breed. The average cross of each horse was 220 dinars of red gold.